Hello, I'm Grace Quantock from sickchicktotrailblazer.com, and we're here today with Nitty Chopra from yourbetterlife.com, and this is, as you probably guessed, a Trailblazers interview. So, Nitty, can you tell us about you and your mission?
Sure. Well, first, Grace, thank you so much for having me. And basically, my mission and my site is all about really empowering women to heal the blocks that are keeping them from living their best life. That's what I am most passionate about. I feel like, I've been through, I'm sure a lot of your audience watching, we all go through our own journey towards what healing means to us, what wellness means to us, what having happiness in your life means to us. And for me, I really discovered that it's not about, having an issue in front of you and slapping an affirmation on top of it, or having an illness in front of you and slapping some medication on top of it, right? And I know you know this so well. It's really about what is the spiritual, the mental, the physical, the divine, all of it. What is the root cause of what's going on in your life? And that's really what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about getting women to get to work and face what's going on in their lives. And with that transformation, you can have the life of your dreams.
Thank you. Oh, I could listen to you all day.
Alright. You can hang out all day if you want.
No, the way you're speaking about it, firstly, the way you describe it is so succinct and powerful. Just as you say it, you know exactly what's happening. You can almost feel a shift as you're talking about it. And yes, I know, I completely agree. So can you tell us, because as you said, you've experienced illness, so can you let us know what twists and turns brought you to this point of what you're doing now?
Absolutely. Well, I got diagnosed with psoriasis when I was about 10 years old. And psoriasis, it's a dry skin condition, for those of you who don't know. For most people out there, it covers maybe your scalp or maybe like a patch or two on your body somewhere. It can definitely be irritating, but it's surely not debilitating for most people. But, we always have to stand out, Grace. So, God forbid I just got one patch. I didn't settle for one patch. I settled for actually my entire body was covered. About 99% of my body, from the tip of my foot to the tip of my head, was covered with psoriasis. And this went on for, about 10 years with just the psoriasis being an issue. And then around the age of 20, I started to actually develop psoriatic arthritis, and that's a common thing. Psoriasis deals with inflammation, so there's inflammation of the skin and then there's inflammation of the joints, and it all kind of goes together. So once I developed the arthritis, I actually was pretty much bedridden for about 4 years of my life. I could walk. I didn't have a wheelchair, but I really couldn't move without either crying because I was in so much pain, or, sometimes I literally, I couldn't bend my feet, I couldn't, bend my wrists, things like that. I was pretty much bedridden for 4 years. And, that, I got it when I was 10, so when I first got sick, I was very angry. And so I could myself. But, I was very angry, and I really looked at this disease as there was something severely wrong with me. Especially because, when you're sick, when you're maybe a little overweight, if you're dealing with money issues, whatever your issue is, I find that people feel like they're the only person on the planet that's going through that issue. And so I was 10, so I was looking at the women in my family who have this beautiful brown skin, and they all were healthy, and I was just like, what's wrong with me? And then just a couple of years later, I had a shift, and I really decided to believe, and, you can only assume that this was God speaking directly to me. I was only 12, I don't really remember all the details, but I remember profoundly shifting into the idea that I could either believe that God hated me and wanted me to suffer. That's why I was sick. or I could believe that this was happening for a bigger reason than I could ever imagine, and it has very little to do with me and everything to do with helping other people. And every time I say that, I get chills because I'm like, things like that. It wasn't even my thoughts. It was like something just coming to me. So I decided to live my life with that lens, that my body is literally my biggest teacher. I guess, that's the biggest thing. And I'm doing much better now. I'm walking, I'm, running, doing what I need to do. The psoriasis is still there, but every time it comes up, I get to work. I start eating better. I start making sure I sleep more. I start more. I realize, like some people might say that about their weight. They realize, oh, I've gained maybe 5 pounds. Okay, you know what? That's because I have to take care of myself. It's the same for my psoriasis. Every time I see it come up, I'm just like, okay, where have I been out of balance? What have I been doing, that I could do more of? So.
That's just one of the best stories that I've been privileged to hear. Thank you. And just the fact, as a 12-year-old, to have that, and as you said it, I got shivers. I thought, oh my goodness, I can see that in you. I can see you being the living embodiment of that message that you had there.
Thank you.
And in some ways it can be very hard because, well, I was doing Danielle Laporte's The Spark Kit, and there's a quote in there from Johnny Cash, and he said that something like, I found I could, it wasn't too bad when I did it my way. And so I started to think, okay, the challenges that I have, in what way are they actually benefiting me or teaching me things? I thought, well, come on, what does pain teach you apart from patience? And then I thought, well, actually, and then we started coming up with things, and in some ways for me now, if certain things in my body, if that kicks up, that's like a little warning sign. It's just like you, and then you can do something about it. So I'm actually very grateful to have that warning sign, and that I'm tuned in enough that I can listen to it, because otherwise it might wait until the problem got very, very serious before I was aware enough to make that lifestyle shift.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of amazing. I look at, I have a lot of allergies. I can't eat a lot of foods, and I can't drink or smoke or any of those things.
Oh, look at that.
And I just almost feel lucky in some ways. People are always like, oh my gosh, you can't drink alcohol. I'm like, yeah, great. I don't have to wake up with a hangover, and my body's not being severely dehydrated, and I'm not overeating because I'm drunk somewhere in a corner, I'm like, this is great. I'm so happy that I can't drink alcohol, and that I know it weakens my immune system, and I want to take care of myself so I don't drink, and all that stuff. I mean, I just think it's amazing if you choose to look at it that way.
And sometimes it can take a while, it can take something. But yes, but when that's right for you, it is an amazing shift, and it really goes all through your life. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what do you consider to be your greatest strength?
What do I consider to be my greatest strength? I would say compassion. When I was really sick and I couldn't walk, I had this understanding and this experience of elderly people, and I would look at elderly people and I would just start crying because I felt so connected to them. Because even though I was only 20 to 24, that feeling where you have no control over what your body is doing and how it's showing up. And, the biggest thing I got from having arthritis was I was instilled with a sense of deep fear because my body was so fragile.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you understand. And so anytime I would take the stairs, or I would have to walk, 5 blocks, which I live in New York City, 5 blocks is nothing for most people, or things like that, I would just be super tense and really afraid because I was so fragile. And I remember, that's isolating in itself because I'm around 20-year-olds who are bouncing off the walls and running and going to the gym and doing yoga and this, that, and the other, and I can't even bend my foot, So I would say just that alone, that experience really taught me, how much people are dealing with. And I'm kind of like a Jedi Knight when it comes to like hiding my psoriasis. Like I know how to, wear the clothes that I need to wear. And it's not because I'm embarrassed or ashamed, but just keep it under control so my wounds aren't exposed all the time, And safety, really. And people will look at me and say like, oh, you have nice hair, you have this, or you're so this. And I'm just like, you just never know what's going on underneath someone's clothes, underneath someone's heart, underneath someone's mind. Really just, it's like boot camp for compassion,
That's an amazing answer. And yes, I do resonate with so much of it, especially. And for a while I was getting cross because I was saying, like, most people in their 20s, they haven't thought about mortality. So they're just doing all these things and going climbing and travelling. And I'd been diagnosed with osteoporosis. So I was like, what if I fall and break something? And then I actually realised that I was more likely to fall because I was paranoid about falling. So then we just decided to forget about that.
I know. I still have those thoughts in my head, and I literally just, I just say it like a prayer in my head. Every time I walk down the steps or walk up the steps or I'm on like an escalator or something like that, it's just like a nervous energy that still, comes into my life daily sometimes. And I just literally will just say like, like the whole, like with every step, I'll try to center my thoughts on that word or, that prayer instead. So for people watching, it's like maybe trying that would be really a helpful thing. It's helped me a lot, actually.
Definitely. No, I'm going to try that next time. What I've been doing is what my Tai Chi Qigong teacher taught me, who is Sue Weston at SueWeston.com. And I'm actually in a Tai Chi class, which is for people over 50. But they let me in because the only adapted class I could find in our county. Everybody else turned me away because they thought I'd invalidate their insurance by breaking something or dying in class or something like that. But I don't blame them. But, because, I'm terrifying. But she taught us...
You're beautiful. You're not terrifying. You're beautiful.
No,
it's fine. We all say it. I feel the same way about taking yoga. I'm so embarrassed about taking yoga because I can't bend my foot and I can't bend my wrist. So I'm like, what the hell am I going to do in yoga? I can't even do downward dog, which is like the thing that they do in every 5 seconds. So anyway, so we forgive ourselves. But go on. You were saying, what did your Tai Chi master say?
So a lot of people in class are older. And some people are referred there or come there because they have osteoporosis and they're very nervous about falling. But you watch people, and when they're nervous about falling, they completely lose their centre of gravity and they lose their pivot point. So all the fear is up here. And there's the worry about the ground, and you're trying to stay away from the ground. So all your gravity is moving upwards. And so you don't have any connection. So when she's talking us through kind of moving to our Dan Chen point, moving to around your solar plexus and your sacrum and moving from there. Suddenly you watch everybody's point of gravity just go whoop, and then everybody suddenly is more stable. And people haven't fallen. They're doing it, and she also, I don't do that, I sit out and visualise it, but she does this very slow walking. When everybody walks and you have to kind of put your foot down like that and gently, and people say when they're up steep hills they do it there, and they and it helps. So it's amazing. Well, I'd love to carry on speaking to you, but we're going to say goodbye for today. My last question before we go is, if you could ask the people who are watching now to go and do something, anything towards their wellness, what would it be?
Oh my god, there's so many things. Okay, well, I would say, the first thing that came up for me is just to do something that really makes you happy. And I know that sounds so, simple and whatever, but, when I was learning about meditation, I learned about meditation from my friend Gabrielle Bernstein, and in her group coaching course years ago. And when I was learning about meditation, it didn't come easily to me, and I would get so frustrated because I'm like, I'm Indian and my last name's Chopra. Shouldn't I just be really good at this stuff? You know what I mean? But I wasn't. I was, just anxious and my mind was running and all of that. But what I noticed about it was that you can make it your own. And so what I found was I have a little dog. She's like a 2.6-pound teacup Yorkie. She's so adorable. She's sleeping in the corner. Otherwise, I would pick her up and show her to you. But, and what I noticed is I would take Bella for a walk, and I would feel the same sense of meditation that I felt when I was in the room with Gabby in her group coaching courses. And I wasn't talking on the phone or multitasking. I was really just focused on this being that I absolutely love and the activity that I love. That's what I mean when I say go do something that really makes you happy, but really focus on it. Because even the same thing, like I've always loved singing, and I've been singing since I was about 13, and, so that's even something when I sing, and I'm just really focused on, I love this activity, and I'm going to really enjoy singing right now. When I do that, I feel like my whole body changes. I really do. I just feel like even talking about it, I feel like my mind relaxes, my muscles relax. I feel in a state of meditation. So that's what I would recommend for everybody to do, is go focus on something that you truly love, and you know what those things are, those things that just light your heart up, and you could talk about them for hours. So that would be my recommendation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to speak to Nitty more, they can go to yourbellalife.com. Thank you for watching, and lots of love and sparkles to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.